Hey everybody, it's Mitch and welcome to my next video. Today is Thursday, which as always means it's time for another story time to check in on our adventurers and see just what they are up to. Last we checked, our group had just crossed that river and we're heading off to the Elven City. We now actually are going to take a little bit of a pause from the story to talk about some adventures that happened along the way that you might have missed out on. Because I wrote this a little bit later. So this wasn't super important to the story, but it did happen. And it was quite interesting. So here we go. The title of this chapter is called Reminiscing. We have had some wonderful battles on our journey, but some are more memorable than others. As I said, we're going to be talking about a really interesting battle that I believe happened on the way to the Dwarven City. One of those such battles happened on our way to the Dwarven City, like I just said. You see, Sovlis' wolf had just died, and he was out replacing it. So, Sovlis, being a ranger of sufficient level, he got an animal companion. And initially he chose a wolf. So this wolf had, I think he even called him Wolf. Really unoriginal with his names. But so he had his wolf, he named him Wolf, and Wolf died. So he went to go get another wolf. I think it was a wolf. I think he replaced it with a wolf this time. So anyways, he's out replacing it. Maybe this is when he switched to something else. I don't remember. Might be in the story, might not. I don't know. Anyway, so Drake, Dorthin, and I spent the day camping while he was out looking. So, he was out looking for another animal. We were just camping, whatever. We had nothing else to do. We were in the middle of freaking nowhere. What were we going to do? So, anyways, I stayed back at the campsite cooking because, Claudis Vonhagis, as you may not have guessed, actually a pretty good cook. It's something of a trait of his. I know it's kind of hard to believe, but he's a cook. While Drake meditated under a waterfall, Drake, being our monk, he was all like, sitting under that waterfall, just sort of, getting in that zen-like state. Let's see. And Dorthin was off climbing a 420-foot cliff because, he's our fighter. This guy's crazy. He's like, you know what, there's a cliff here. I'm going to climb that sucker. And, he just decided he was going to have some fun with it. Well, maybe not the best of ideas. It sure was fun, though. I was sitting at the campsite. Okay, so before I get to this next part, I'll read it. But I got a lot of explaining on this because this is from Claude's point of view. He kind of missed most of the action. So anyways, I was sitting at the campsite when Drake runs up to me and tells me he just fought off 2 sharks and that Dorthin is falling off a cliff and needs my tent to catch him. So, basically, what happened was Dorthin, he was off climbing this cliff when all of a sudden a couple of harpies attacked him, just like clean out of nowhere. And, he's fighting them off as best as he can. He's on the middle of a cliff, so, he's fighting one-handed, trying to stay on the freaking cliff, fighting with his sword, not doing that well. I think he did manage to take one of them out. It's hard to remember for sure, but I think he did do somewhat decent. Sovlis was off, doing his thing. Belgarath was away. My buddy Joe, who plays him, he wasn't there at the time, so that didn't end up. But anyway, so that didn't end up. He wasn't there. So yeah, and after that, so he's fighting off at the cliff when Drake, who's meditating, he happens to notice that hey, he's fighting some harpies. So Drake, he's a monk. He's super fast, so he runs as fast as he can over towards Dorthin to go help. Meanwhile, Dorthin ends up slipping and falling off the cliff, so he's plunging to his death. Meanwhile, Drake, he's running as fast as he can, trying to catch him. Drake actually, he grabs. Whoa, actually, yeah, that's when he says he's falling off a cliff and he needed to catch him. So he came running to me asking for that. And then he took off with my tent. So basically, he comes running to me. So he wasn't running after him as fast as he could. He saw him start to fall, and he's like, you know what? I'm gonna go get something from Claude. So he ran after me, grabbed my tent, because he's so fast, and he's 420 feet up. So it's gonna take a little while to fall, and so he had a little bit of time. But by the time he got there, there's no time to deal with that tent. He was falling too fast. So Drake decided to do something a little on the crazy side. I think it was Drake. Yeah, I don't believe. No, actually, it was Dorthan who did it. Oh, God, Dorthan, he's so freaking crazy. As he's falling to his death, the harpy, I believe the harpy ended up freaking catching him. And, they end up in this battle. Dorthan just does the craziest thing I ever heard of. He grabs his bag of holding, because actually no, the harpy didn't catch him, but they were kind of locked onto each other, and he grabs his bag of holding and he actually he gets the harpy in a grapple. Yeah, he grabbed the harpy as he was falling. That's what happened, because she was attacking him. So he grabbed her mid-fall, and then used his free hand, grabbed his bag of holding out, and then he just sort of stuffed both him and the harpy inside of this bag of holding, and just let the bag of holding start to fall. Meanwhile, Drake, he sees what's going on, and he just catches this bag of holding, so they end up fighting inside of his bag of holding, which I think had a bottle of air in it, so they could fight for indefinitely, pretty much. So there's all of Dorthan's potions are sitting in there, and they're just fighting. It's just this crazy battle of him versus a freaking harpy inside of a dang bag of holding. Meanwhile, Drake's running. I think. Oh yeah, there was another harpy too. So yeah, he wasn't able to take any of them out, but he caught one of them, and then the other went to grab. Yeah, that's what happened. So there were two harpies. Sorry, it's been forever. So there were two harpies. He took one of them out, and he took one of them into that bag of holding. Then the other one actually caught the bag of holding, because Drake was going for it, and started to fly off with it. And Drake just sped after him, running as fast as he could. Meanwhile, Dorthan's, he took out the harpy inside the bag, and Drake managed to take out the one inside. I think, yeah, he cut the harpy's head clean off and just sort of kept it in the bag of holding as a trophy. So yeah, that was a pretty awesome fight. Very, very memorable. Yeah, it says here, I think he said he fought off two sharks, which I don't remember that fight particularly, but apparently Drake, I think before while Dorthan was still, he was fighting some sharks at the waterfall, and then when he finished off with that, that's when he started running. They noticed Dorthan. So that's what happened. The sharks came and attacked him while he was meditating. Sorry, it's been forever since I've actually played this game. This was years ago. So yeah. But anyways, they took down the two sharks. They took down the two harpies. And then they made it back alive and just needed some healing from, Claudis Vonhagis, yours truly. But yeah, that was the story in a nutshell. So let's see. He comes back a long while later with Dorthan. So it was quite a while later. The battle ensued for a while. He had plus he's running full speed and Dorthan's not that fast, so it took a while to walk back. Got back a long time later with Dorthan, and apparently they didn't need the tent, so Drake made that journey for nothing. But it's all good. I mean, it was a very, very fun adventure. Anyways, next week we are going to be getting back to our trip to the Elven City. It was just a little bit of a sidetrack, a little fun story to share that happened a little earlier. But anyways, definitely subscribe so you can catch and see what happens next. Also, be sure to check out, check out all my other videos. 'Cause I have Dungeons and Dragons description videos every Friday. Bleh, trying to remember stuff. Anyways, I have every Friday, then new Naruto character reviews every Saturday, additional videos on Sunday, plus these every Thursday. We got 4 a week, plus we're probably up to more by this point. So definitely check all that stuff out for, subscribe so you can get access to that. There's not a whole lot left to say. Definitely share this playlist so that, all your friends can check it out too. And of course, subscribe to my channel. Sorry, I already said subscribe. And of course, leave the comments below. I want to know what you guys think. Like, seriously. I really want to know what you think of the story. So anyways, as always, I'm Mitch, and I'll be seeing you.